So here's the basic rule for a tangent ratio. The tangent of any angle, we'll call it A in this picture with that triangle. The tangent of A equals the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So what you have to do is you have to be able to look at the triangle, find angle A. You have to look opposite from angle A, and angle the number over there. There's no number right now, but there will be a number later. You have to find that number, write it on top of the fraction, and then find the adjacent number and write it on the bottom of the fraction. And that's the tangent ratio. Now some students sometimes get it mixed up. They mix up the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Okay, leave the hypotenuse alone. There might be a number there, you just leave it alone. Okay, remember the hypotenuse is not part of the tangent, it's opposite over adjacent. Okay, so it's the one that touches the right angle, that's the one we want. Okay, so let's move on to example 1 right here. And it wants us to find two things in this, so we need two answers. We need the tangent of S and the tangent of R. Okay, raise your hand next time. The tangent of S, we look at the angle S over here. See, aha, there's S. So I look opposite from S. So what's the number that's opposite? Okay, so that goes on top of my fraction, 4 radical 3, 4 root 3. And then I look for the adjacent side. Is it the 8 or is it the 4? It's the 4, because 8's the hypotenuse, so I want 4 down here. Now let's simplify this. Anytime you have an algebra or a rational expression, you got the same factor on top and bottom, you just cross out those numbers, and it's just root 3, right? Okay. One more thing. Look at the directions. It says write it as a fraction in simplified form. We just did, root 3. And as a decimal rounded to 4 decimal places. So take the calculators out and put in root 3 and hit equals. And tell me the decimal all the way to 4 places.
1.320.
That's right. Okay, 1.7321. Yeah, because of that 5, you got to round it up to the 0.
What?
Oh, I got my list.
Put root 3 in calculator, hit equals, and you have the decimal up to
4.
that's like 4 places. Put in the calculator. And we got to do R.
Yeah, thanks, Cherie. We still have to do R. So y'all write down the tangent of angle R. Now I'll tell you a secret. Well, I'll tell you after we're done here. Let's look at R. Look for a pattern. Look opposite from R, what you see. 4. So put that on top of your fraction. And look adjacent to R, 4 root 3. Let's cancel out the 4's. Now this time it's not root 3. Look, cancel the 4's out. So what does it equal? 1 over root 3. You see why I have to put a 1 on top of it? You passed algebra, right? You guys passed algebra? Of course you do. That's why you need geometry, okay? So when you cross out the factor on top, you got to leave something up there in the numerator. How come I didn't have to leave it in the denominator and the one above it?
Because the 4 at the bottom.
That's why. Because it's at the bottom. Anytime you got 1 on the bottom of a fraction, you know it's not really a fraction. It's a whole number or something. Okay, anyways, put this in the calculator. 1 divided by root 3. And you get a different decimal this time. It's not the same answer. There you go. 0.5774. Now, you know what Cherie whispered at the beginning of this problem? She said that they're the same answer. They're kind of the same. That one is upside down from the other, right? The fractions, the ratios are the same. It's just like scale factor. It's like upside down. Show you how to put it in the calculator? Okay. Type in 1 divided by You already know? Okay. Okay, we're ready to go on to the next example here. Now, you're not gonna believe how fast example 2 is gonna go by, so watch. Okay, look, you're looking at the clock, you gotta look over here, it's gonna go fast, right? It's gonna be, you're gonna type in your calculator, it says approximate the tangent of 74 degrees. Type in the tangent button, and it puts a parenthesis up there automatically for you. 74. Now, you don't have to close the parenthesis right now, but later on, we'll do some math problems, and we wanna multiply this times something. You're gonna have to close the parenthesis behind 74, or you're gonna be in trouble, okay? So type in the tangent 74, round it to how many places? 4. There you go, that was it. Okay. That's it, that's the end of that example, so let's turn the page. All right, we got a little checkpoint to do here. Okay. So here we go. It says use the tangent ratio to find x. See, the tangent ratio of an angle will let you find a missing side when you don't have enough numbers to do the Pythagorean theorem. All we need is one number. Okay? So write this down. Write the tangent of 22 degrees. Don't figure it out yet. Don't do it in the calculator. Equals, now remember it's the opposite over the adjacent. So who's the opposite side? 3 over x, whatever the bottom is. That's right. Now, I don't know if you remember this from Algebra 1, but when you're solving an equation that has a variable on the bottom of a fraction, you can do a little, we call it a slick trick right here. What you do is you take that variable and whatever's over here on this side of the equation, and you swap them out. You just switch them before you try to solve it. So you put the x on this side, and over here you put 3 over tangent of 22 degrees. Now that's easy, right? 3 divided by that. Put it in the calculator and get an answer, and you find out how long that side is. There we go. 7 point. It says round to the nearest tenth. 7.4. That's right. Now we know how long that side is, and we didn't need the Pythagorean theorem to do it. That was simple.
How you gonna put 3 on the top?
Because, good question, because when I looked at that 22 degrees, I looked opposite from it. 3 goes on top. Let's do it again on example 4, because this is brand new. You've never seen this before. Same situation, new angle here, it's 35 degrees. So if we want to find the missing side x, we're going to write down the tangent of 35 degrees equals the opposite over adjacent. So she said 4 over x. Now, in the future, it won't always be 4 over x. Sometimes it'll be x over 4. I'll teach you how to do that when we get to that. Remember the slick trick? You got x on the bottom, swap them out. Okay? I think I know a song about that.
Yeah, this one.
Swap it out. Huh? Isn't that the song? I was singing it at the prom. You got it? Just swap it out. That's not how it goes. Okay, so put that in the calculator. 4 divided by root. 5.7. 5.7 is your answer. Hey, that's an old song. Okay, when you are ready, let's turn the page and apply it to a pine tree. I read somewhere that the reason why we have so many of these called loblolly pines that grow so high in Georgia is because when they colonized the East, that the English, they needed to build ships. They needed to build fast, and they found out that these loblolly pines that grow so straight and so tall were great for building the masts in a ship. So they started planting them everywhere, and they just kept going and going. So that's what I read in those. Anyways, there you go. You can find out how high a tree is without climbing it. All you gotta do is, you gotta measure how far you're standing away from the tree. You see right here it's 45 feet away from the tree. And then you gotta use some measure, some like protractor to look up to the top of the tree and figure out what angle you're at. Okay? So this person's already figured out that they're 59-degree angle looking up at the top of the tree, and they've measured 45 feet. We're gonna find the variable h, how high that tree is right here. All right, follow me now. The tangent of 59 degrees equals the opposite over the adjacent. So the variable is now, it's h on top, that's right, h on top, 45 on the bottom. Now, you do not swap it out on this one, because the variable's not on the bottom. Don't swap it out. Oh, no, swap it out. You're going to take, here's what you're going to do. Since this is h divided by 45, you're going to do the opposite of dividing and multiply by 45. So in your calculator, you put in the tangent of 59 degrees times 45, but you're going to get the wrong answer if you don't close the parenthesis behind the 59. Got to close that parenthesis in the TI model, in the new TI model. You're all right. You got the old school. You don't have to worry about those problems. See, we didn't have to climb the tree now. We got no pine sap on our clothes. 74 point what? Wait a minute, this is near his foot. I don't want 74.9. 75. Isn't that right? Underneath it. You're right, you're right. We are, after this checkpoint, we're going to end the lesson, okay? And then we'll practice it tomorrow.
You do the rest of it?
Yeah, same thing.